Susan is about to come on and rock your world, especially if you are a new coach and you want to create success. She's going to be sharing some powerful secrets to help you do that. And specifically, I'm saying a massive thank you for being here, for choosing to become your greatest possible self and be on this journey with us. I acknowledge you for showing up and taking the steps that you are taking. Keep going, keep staying plugged in, keep being your greatest possible self. Next up is the iTunes review of the week, and let's see who it's by this week. It's by CJ Hokama, who says, "Feed the burn. Chris's energy, enthusiasm, and zeal for his work is truly unmatched. He brings the absolute best in his guests, us, the listeners, as well as himself when it matters the most in life, the present moment. This podcast is not just hoorahs and chest-pounding moments either. Chris and his guests deliver breakthrough tools and applicable life exercises in order for his audience to make being the greatest versions of themselves possible." And that is our review of the week. If you want a chance to get shouted out on a future 12-hour live stream all day long, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Greatest Possible Self on the Apple Podcast Store, and you can give us a review there. Thank you in advance for doing that, and we appreciate the feedback. Appreciate you being here, being a Raven fan, a new-time listener, a loyal listener, wherever you're at on the spectrum. I just appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to introduce Susan in just a second here. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, be ready to take notes. This is going to be a fiery interview. This woman is a powerhouse. My gosh, she is just full of energy, full of intensity. You're going to love this experience. So definitely stick around all the way through till the end, because Susan is going to blow your mind. And one of these ideas has the power to change everything for you. So stick around. Let's introduce Susan, and we'll bring her on the screen. Susan Allan created Heartspace Coaching and is an internationally known relationship and marriage coach and mediator. For 20 years, she has been helping people just like you to find, attract, and marry the loves of their lives. Susan has also helped so many couples and happily married couples create ongoing passion and bliss by offering unique skills like the 6-part conversation, the 7 stages of love, the Tantric Lock training, and she's a speaker and author of eBooks and numerous columns on love, marriage, and peaceful divorce. She has 60 pages of testimonials. Best of all, Susan offers a free, private 1-hour telephone session so that you can see how to turn your life around. And she's here today to share with us that wisdom, that gold that she has collected over the years. Susan, are you ready to rock the house, Superwoman?
You bet I'm ready. And of course, today we're not talking about any of that. We have a completely different topic today. So that will make everybody nuts.
Well, I think it's really great because you have such a prowess in relationships. I think it's great to update people on that, but you have so many different things. I just want to speak to like all this different mastery and experience and expertise that you have, Susan. It's really remarkable. You have so much to give to people and to offer people. It's amazing. Thank you for being here.
It's an honor to be with you.
Yes.
I'm thrilled. I'm
Awesome.
just thrilled. I'm a zealot. If you've got zeal, I'm a zealot.
I love it. I love it, Susan. Let's dive right in. We have a theme today, and we're just asking the perspective of each guest what they think of holiday magic. What does that mean to you?
Well, holiday magic, in order to create the life you want, you have to be willing to look at what you don't like at all. That's the secret to creating and manifesting. To have the courage to look at what you absolutely dislike about your life, turn it into your goals, use my goal-reaching skills or other skills you may have acquired that work, and then out of that, have 2020 Christmas is going to look totally different. 2020, I'm going to be with my perfect life partner on New Year's Eve, all that stuff. So look at the difference between where you are today and where you want to be. Don't stick it under the rug. Don't dance around it. Don't lie to yourself about it. Be very specific about what you truly want and desire based on the difference between what you have and where you're going. And people who have the courage to do that and the skills to do that create remarkable breakthroughs, which I know you've done in your life, and God knows I have as well.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. I love that, holiday magic's great. And let's talk about being real. Like, how do you be real with your life? How do you actually take your life head on and say, like, this is what I don't like. So what am I going to do about it? How do I show up as the creator of the magic and deal with what I've got and transmute it into something that I really love and a life that I love. And so next year in 2020, I do have the life of my dreams. First takes being willing to look at the darkness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yay.
So powerful. I love it. Susan, this is a blast. I want to get people up to speed with what you want them to know about you and the services that you offer, what you stand for with your clients. You do a lot of different things, but specifically, what do you want to tell them today, especially coaches and people who are out there on that journey?
Well, when you and I were talking about the topic for today's show, I suggested that I am speaking to so many people who are young coaches or they'd like to become. And they simply don't understand what's required. They don't know how to become successful. And I teach a lot of them. I've taught a lot of coaches in the 20 years I've been doing this. So you and I decided the most valuable thing that we could discuss today is what does it take to be a successful coach? I've been making a living as a coach for 20 years. Before anybody knew what a coach was, I was a coach. So I thought we would really talk about the business aspects. Because it doesn't matter that I'm a relationship coach or a certified mediator or this, that, or the other thing. What matters is that I was a businesswoman for 20 years before I became a coach.
Wow.
So I had all the marketing, sales stuff going on. In fashion, I designed and sold with my sales team $750 million worth of products.
Wow.
So I created the products, I marketed the products, I promoted the products, I trained the sales teams. That's the benefit of being older. You've experienced stuff, you've survived stuff, You
have a track record.
You actually can say when somebody says to you, well, what are you going to teach me? I could talk for about 6 hours if somebody had the interest in listening. So if you want to become a coach and you're listening to this, or if you're a young coach, nobody has better energy than you, Chris. I mean, nobody. So they got to do their damnedest to come up with energy as close to yours as possible. And that comes from joy.
Yeah.
That comes from the inner work that you've obviously done and that I've done as well.
Yeah.
On top of that, you have to understand sales, marketing. You have to understand advanced customer service. All the things that I teach. And I teach something called the 6-part conversation. And anybody who wants a copy of this, they should make sure that they reach out to me. I offer a free 1-hour telephone session to anybody who asks anywhere in the world. And the 6-part conversation for sales is how you can qualify someone as a potential client, how you can do everything you need to do, including transform objections, make your presentation in an effective way, and close the deal and get paid.
I love it, Susan.
Because it's not a close.
This is what everyone wants. We want the clarity. We want to know how to do the thing. We have this vision. We have this dream of where we want to be, a lifestyle of freedom, impacting people, living our purpose. And sometimes we just need a little help along the journey to know what are the steps to get there. What's the systems, the processes, the how to get there. And I want to dive into that in a sec. Before that, though, Susan, what was the defining moment for you that said, "Hey, I want to dedicate my life to coaching people, to really change from business and fashion and go into relationships and business and coaching like for yourself?"
Well, mine was a horror story, so we won't go into too much detail. But I retired from the fashion industry when I married my second husband, who turned out to be a sociopath and a psychopath and attempted to murder me. So he attempted to murder me. I survived. I put together all these experts in the fields of, domestic violence and divorce and what have you. And I said, well, God, I guess you made this happen so that I could show other people how to survive difficult life experiences. And I said, and since all the money that I used to have went to attorneys and I was in hiding and all the rest of it, I said, I guess I have to make this into a business and it's going to have to be a successful business. So that's how this happened for me. And then I started with divorce and people said, but I own a company. The same skills you're teaching me to make peace with my family, come and talk to, my team members. And I did. Or they said, my marriage isn't that bad. Maybe you could teach me how to save it. And I did. And so the 60 pages of testimonials has all these different categories. And it's a mission. if somebody said to me, do you want to go out to dinner or go to a cocktail party, or would you rather help me with my life? Help you with your life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I know we were talking in our pre-interview calls. You've been to India multiple times. You've traveled the world
57 times.
57 times. Multiple is an understatement.
Like 57 times.
So much. Like you've invested so much of yourself into mastering these skill sets, and that's what I really appreciate about you, Susan. Is like you walk your talk. You've like been there and done that kind of thing, and I really appreciate that. So I want to start diving into these different secrets and different key points that a lot of new coaches are missing. Where do you want to start with that?
You're the boss. Whatever you think your people would be most interested in.
Sure.
It's probably something about business, sales, customer service, that.
Yeah. So I think, Susan, the place a lot of people get stuck is they have the passion, but they don't know how to translate that into sales and lead generation, sales, and then ultimately fulfillment. Can you take us through a couple of those components that really need to be in place?
Yeah. And let us imagine we're talking right this second about a complete newbie.
Okay.
And I just spoke to someone like that last week. So the first thing you do if you decide you want to be a coach is you find 3 to 5 of your friends. You offer them free coaching with an understanding that you're going to get video testimonials or at least written testimonials with their names and photos.
Yeah.
And that has to be the agreement going in. If there's any question about it, then you need to talk to me to find out how to motivate people to do that, right? So I'm telling you what to do. And if you don't know how to do it, call me, have the free session.
Yep.
So that's the first thing, because you have to assess what you are actually qualified to coach about. Somebody in their 20s and 30s has very few things they can coach about, unless maybe they ran some marathons and they want to do sports coaching, or they're, a massage therapist or personal trainer or yoga teacher, something like that. How to build a yoga business if you're a professional yoga teacher and you've done it, great. But be very sure that if you're a young person in your 20s or 30s, you haven't had success in anything yet. It's like when I wanted to be a writer and I was in my late 20s and I bought those days an electric typewriter. I rented a house in the Hamptons for a month on the water by myself. And I said, okay, Susan, now you're going to write. I was 28 years old. I had limited experiences. I wrote all this like Mademoiselle magazine nonsense. It was funny, but it was so lightweight.
Yeah.
And I said, Susan, that's not how you're spending your life.
No.
Go back and have some life experiences. Come back and write in 20 years, which is pretty much what I did.
Wow.
So if you want to be a coach and you honestly haven't had success in any area yet, it's not about learning as you go. You're not going to be qualified once you get a lead. Even if somebody is nice enough to give you a lead, you're not going to be able to close that person. I've developed systems. I developed skill sets. I have modules, all that business.
Yeah. And
it's on top of a 20-year career of success in business, with employees, with team members, with sales.
That's huge. So for those people who might be at the place of maybe they haven't achieved big life success and they want to go still serve people, like where do you cross the line of saying, okay, I've been helping enough people and I've been getting them results. Now it's time to make a official business out of this. Like when does that happen?
So that's the next level. Okay. So and it's not age related. Of course, somebody can be, quite brilliant and incredibly skillful and have done something in tech when they're, a teenager.
Sure.
So it isn't age related, but, be clear that you have to have some accomplishment.
Sure.
So now you've helped 3 to 5 people. Their lives turned around in appreciable ways. You now have self-esteem because you've actually done something and you're, oh my God, this is amazing. Then you need help with branding and marketing. So now you've got to have a name for it. It's got to be clever. It's got to reflect who you are. You've got to find somebody. Again, I do all of this on the phone with clients, usually like in a session.
Yeah.
We can come up with 3 names for their business, etc. One caveat I think that's really important is I honestly believe that these coaching programs that don't focus on getting you leads and don't focus on getting you money are a waste of time. I don't see any benefit at all of being able to say you're a such and such coach.
Right.
You know, I mean, including mine.
Right.
The only reason people should study with me or study with you is because we have business success, and we can teach them how to do what we do and have the success we have. It's not because they're going to put Burn It Up coaching or Heartspace coaching or the sales form coaching on their letterhead, you know? So the most important thing is you've got to learn from somebody who's already building a business, making a living, paying their bills, paying their mortgage or rent, and who's been doing it consistently for a long time, at least 5-6 years. You know, I've been doing it for 20 years, but at least 5-6 years.
Yeah. And I also think the results is just like, what a better way to build a foundation of integrity than saying, I'm actually getting people results in this, and I'm providing these results. I have the testimonials. I have this track record to stand upon. It gives us so much confidence. And I think so many people are unwilling to, you know, put their ego aside and say, listen, I care about this so much. I care about being a coach so much. I care about solving this problem for you so much that I'm willing to not get paid temporarily because I'm more committed to providing the result and getting the testimonial and having you be a raving fan for me.
Of course. And, you know, those are the people who, if you really did get them value, as you and I do, they're going to send you their friends. Of course they are. You know, I remember when I was just starting, I was working with this woman, and it turned out her brother was one of the founders of PayPal.
Wow.
And he didn't actually need any coaching, so I didn't have a conversation with him, but I thought, this is cool. This is really great. And, you know, I've worked with lots of Hollywood celebrities. I've worked with a Victoria's Secret model. I've worked with major Hollywood producers. I've worked with, you know, guys who are, and women who are multi-millionaires, very, very, very high profile. Why? Because I know these people in real life. It's not a big deal for me.
Right.
But like with you, but you're not going to be able to do any of this unless this is the vibrational state at which you live. And you've got to do your inner work consistently. I don't know about you, but I'm always in a training of some sort, you know, always. Yep. And whatever the next thing is for me, that's where I'm going. And I'm investing time and money, and I'm always learning something. And people who worked with me, I have a number, 4 people now who came back after some years, and each one of them is stunned. Oh, we didn't work on that before. I said, well, probably I learned it in the last 40 years. I used to have 50 things to teach you. Now I've got about 96 things to teach you. The way it goes. If you're a coach, you're always learning. You're a lifelong learner.
Yeah. I know you said you have, I've seen it, pages, 60 pages of testimonials. It's incredible. How did you really build that referral base as well? People sharing you with their friends. Like, what does it take for someone to want to share about you?
You know, people are very funny about coaching. They will easily tell you about their yoga teacher, their personal trainer, their favorite store, where they buy shoes. It's different with this. However, I work within families. So I was referred to a woman who had a crisis. She then referred me to her sister who had a crisis. The sister referred me to her boyfriend, fiance, then now husband. I introduced the first sister to the man she's marrying. I've worked with one of each of these women's children. I laughingly said, I must have been related to you in another lifetime, because it doesn't make sense otherwise, you know? Right. And there are other families where I'm working with a woman right now. I'm so proud of her. She's in New York. She just won the ASCAP award. I mean, it's huge for the best song in a category. And I actually grew up with her cousin. We didn't even know it, but we're on the same vibe. So this client and I are so similar. Well, we really are, because one of her cousins was one of my closest friends my whole childhood. So you get into a vibe, and then people see you as one of us. They get that you're like them. You walk the walk, talk the talk that's familiar to them. But as a coach, I work with people all over the world. So I've been able to convince people who are in Hong Kong and in India and in England and in Spain, and I just signed my first client in Portugal, that I'm recognizably like them. And you have to be able to do that to build a big coaching business.
I love that, and I also love that you have built your own curriculum, your own brand materials. It really sets you apart from other people. Can you tell us a little bit more about the importance of doing that as we progress in our own expertise and knowledge, and how we serve our clients?
Well, yeah, because I was a designer. I was a creative director. I worked for Halston and Anne Klein and Adolfo and all this stuff. So creativity was the most exciting thing for me.
Yeah.
And problem solving is what I'm all about. You know, my website is Heartspace Solutions, plural. There's an S on the end of solutions.com. You know, I have about 5 or 6 websites, but that's my favorite one, Heartspace Solutions. So when I listen to people, I listen to hear what their unmet need is. I listen to hear how I can offer a solution to meet that need. I don't listen for problems. I listen for unmet needs. It's a much more positive way of framing it. And I've been acquiring solutions and systems. I'm a systems developer for all these years.
Wow.
And naturally, certain brands and trademark ideas came to me. So Heartspace is branded, and the Divorce Forum is also branded. And I have the Peace Forum website, and I have the Sales Forum branded, all this stuff, because each person is listening for his or her own needs.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody who's building your business, you want me to talk about the Sales Forum. If you're somebody, and I know you're in a relationship with somebody fabulous, so if you wanted to take that to the next step, or you had a speed bump, then I would be talking about Heartspace. You don't want to hear about the Sales Forum. And if somebody has gone through a marriage and now they're in a lot of upset about that, they want to hear about the Sales Forum, how to have peaceful no court divorce. So it's important as a coach, only if you have these areas of expertise. That's the key. First, you have to have the areas of expertise, then you brand around that.
Wow. So you really showed up to meet the challenges, the unmet needs that life threw your way. And you're like, hey, I keep seeing this type of problem or obstacle or opportunity or unmet challenge, unmet need come my way. How can I build something that's more systemized, more repeatable? And also it helps the client more effectively if there's a solution, tried and true, and it specifically communicates who you are and how you do the work and everything like that they get to go through. It just makes it easier, more simple, more streamlined, more flow.
And when you are a young coach, it's tricky because you think that you need the client to guide you. You think that you can't be too much in that person's face. The thing you have to remember, which I learned, 20 years in fashion, was all anybody remembers is, did it sell? All anybody remembers is, did you get them the result? If I showed up in the showroom and I was the nicest, sweetest, prettiest little girl in the world, and that stuff didn't sell, nobody cared about how well I behaved myself and how often I showed up. So I invented something brand new in the fashion industry at the time. And it had all to do with letting people have a percentage of my talent, not my time, letting people get their needs met. And I did it in an outside the box way. But all you have to think about as a coach is your client getting the results he or she paid you to get?
Wow.
And common sense tells you if you don't know how to get them there, then you shouldn't be taking on that client. And, I have a 20% affiliate program. So if somebody gets a lead and they don't know how to handle it, and it's not your field of expertise, Chris, send them to me. You'll get 20% right off the top. PayPal pays me, and 20% of what I get from them goes to whoever referred it. And that's my lead generation concept.
Well, I think that's brilliant because we don't want to have to solve every single problem that comes our way or every single unmet need that comes our way. Like, that would be such a headache to try to do that.
I want to. But okay, that's me at this point.
But no, I think that you have developed these pathways that people
That's
can
right.
come into,
That's right.
right? You've
You bet.
architected the system to
Yes.
receive people and deliver the result, which is different than I'm a jack of all trades. I can do everything for everyone, where there's not a expertise in each field. You have that track record, you have that expertise, which I think is so unique, and like people like Tony Robbins, who builds all these different curriculums, whether wherever people are at, they can go to Tony Robbins Corporation or Robbins Research, whatever, international, and go get what their need is met through him. And you have those same systems. You have
Don't start me on Tony Robbins, but if they come here, they really do get their needs met. They really do. And I do it personally. I can't think of 5 coaches who have the experience I have, the expertise I have, and legitimately have the qualifications and results signed with people's names, who do the coaching themselves, who don't just send you a video. Yeah. Now, I do have a 4-hour video people can buy for $97, and they get an extra free session with me, and it's a fabulous deal. A lot of people who work with me one-on-one buy that too. But the bottom line is, I know and you know that one-on-one coaching produces results about 2 million times faster than if you send somebody to watch a video.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I think what's really cool is in today's day and age is you get to choose who you resonate with, right? So I mentioned Tony Robbins, but a lot of people don't like Tony Robbins, So that's what's so great about you.
Screaming.
A lot of people are looking for other options. So that's what I really love about how you show up and your expertise and your journey, that will really attract a completely different market segment, and people who are like, I love Susan. I get Susan. She speaks my language. And then that way they're able to take those next steps with you.
And let me just suggest what the description is of that resonance.
Sure.
So clients who do fantastically with me have a certain intellectual curiosity. They have a serious intellectual curiosity about what it means to be a human being and how can they improve their life as a human being. And the second thing is they have heart. And that, of course, is why you and I have gotten, along so well, like instantly, because that you resonate on both of those channels as I do. And so people who are watching or listening later who have this, come on, let's not waste another second of your life. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Let's get you there. I can show you how. I've probably shown hundreds and hundreds or even thousands so far how to get exactly where you want to go from where you are today.
Yeah. And I think what's really cool about what you offer is that one initial call for free saying, hey, like, come try it out, come test it out. I think what better way to see the resonance in action and where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, than that. And I know just in like one call that we had, we just felt like this profound opening and this difference that we made for each other. It was awesome, just like to be there. And so I really love that model that you offer to people. It's awesome.
And it is legitimately 1 hour. Yeah. And if, it's 1 hour of my life that I am giving someone, a stranger, as a gift. Yeah. And actually, I got a call from an 18-year-old young man a couple of weeks ago who was frantic. He found me on a dating advice website. And he called me on my cell. And it was a Saturday evening. And I picked up the phone. I didn't have to be out. Spoke to him. We spoke for an hour and a half. And he was in a frenzy about a breakup. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, you're 18 years old. You're in high school. I get it. Call me tomorrow too. I'll give you another free hour. And he was like amazed. And, I clarified for him, his behaviors don't work. If he wants a very smart, very beautiful, very talented girl to be his behaviors don't work. And, he's got to get some money together in order to either buy the $97 video or have, I could give him a little bit of an improvement on the rate, but he needs skills. He's 18. I said, at 18, we all needed skills. The difference is you can get them, not at 28, 38, 48, or never. Right. You can get them now.
That's right. And I know you are effective at marketing yourself as well. You do a ton of PR. Tell us the importance of that, how that's played a role in your career.
When I was in fashion, I had a 7-page article in Advertising Age magazine. Advertising Age is all about the best advertising campaigns.
Wow.
I had a 0 advertising budget, $0. I had a PR company that in those days, I was paying $3,000 a month, and they got me in 54 newspapers across the country.
Wow.
On the news in Minneapolis and here and there, whatever it was. And it was like 0 advertising. When I was in the antique business, I had a 9-page article in the #1 antique magazine in Southern California. And I had 0 advertising budget and 0 PR budget. I did it myself.
Wow.
So you've got to put yourself on the map. You've got to be able to be someone who, if they look at you and Google you, it's all over the place.
Yep.
And if anybody Googles me and they remember it's Allan, Allan, not the other spelling, they're going to find me all over Google, And the YouTube channel, I have 215 video clips on YouTube. Susan Allan, Allan, 2001, like the Space Odyssey. So you got to be everywhere. You got to work it because you love it.
That consistency is important. And how do people get their foot in the door with those kinds of opportunities?
Well, I mean, they can call me, contact me, do whatever you're going to suggest that they do in order to reach me and have a free session. And I will give them answers, on a case-by-case basis. And the bottom line is you start with 3 to 5 people. You give them free coaching. You get your testimonials, video, far preferred nowadays to just written. Then you've got to be building your email list as you're going on. We know this is crucial. It's amazing to me, people who call me and they've been in business as coaches for years and they have 100 emails. I mean, come on, you must have, a lot of people have 100 relatives. So everybody, not just a few people. So then you use Constant Contact or MailChimp or whoever it is. And now you have to have enough to say, if you're a coach, right?
Yep.
To be able to reach out. And you know what I learned this year?
What?
The most effective marketing I do to previous clients is I use Jackie Lawson's e-cards. $12 a year or $14 a year.
Wow.
I sent out an e-card for Halloween. I sent out an e-card for Thanksgiving. Between October end and November end, 4 people who had been my clients years ago started working with me again.
Wow.
Then another thing I do, I just did my first Facebook Live event with a very famous and very dear friend. And Howard Wills he eliminates cancer and diabetes and heart disease, and he's a miracle worker, a divinely guided miracle worker. And he's on my YouTube channel. We've had about, 40,000 views of the different shows he's done. I thought, Facebook Live, why not? So I worked it and worked it and worked it, and we had a lot of views from that. And I now have my first paying client that's one of his clients.
Wow.
I gave a bunch of free sessions to people with a kind of a hook, a loss leader kind of a hook.
Yep.
And then this beautiful young couple in Hawaii said, oh no, we really need you to help us with we've got publishing problems. We've got business problems. We need to learn how to manage our business. We just don't know. They're, very young. So great, fantastic. I can show you how to avoid all this in the future too.
Yeah.
So what is it that you know how to do? Who do you know? Get your email list, start putting stuff out there, all of these things. And basically, all they have to do is follow me and they'll see what I'm doing and they can do their version of it.
Yeah. Wow.
If they follow me on Facebook, if they follow me on YouTube, they subscribe here and there. They just have to watch what I'm doing.
Yep. Stay plugged in. That's
brain surgery.
Yeah, it's staying plugged in and modeling success. I think that's so important. And for people who want to model the success that you've had on delivery and fulfillment, they may not necessarily see that stuff. So what would you say are some big tips or important things about delivering successful coaching?
You have to be capable. And that's why I think this is really one of the most important things I've ever developed. This is mine.
Wow.
And to be able to bring yourself to peace with self-empathy before you speak to anyone is crucial.
Yeah.
And if you then are with somebody who's troubled, you have to be able to bring that person to peace with empathy. And when you do that, when you demonstrate that, the potential client sees, oh my gosh, this person really has skills. I need these skills. I need to learn these skills, particularly if they have a relationship issue or a problem with their boss or their coworkers or their clients. Then as you move forward, you make your presentation. Well, I write scripts for clients all the time. So if someone is calling me for a free session about coaching, the first thing I would say is, great, give me your elevator pitch. And, then the next thing I'm going to say is, would you be willing to have me make some suggestions? Well, normally they would say, of course, please. Like, great. So you need to take verbatim dictation, or I can record it on the voice memo. It's fine. Send it to you. And I would recommending that you memorize this.
Oh, yeah.
This is your new elevator pitch. And your vibe has to be from you having already done one of my 5 self-soothing techniques. And you say, well, what is that? So I said, okay, well, I've got 5. Let's see. Let me teach you this one. So I usually, these days, I'm teaching the most recent. It's called brain breathing. It actually shuts down the fight or flight modality in the amygdala in the brain. Wow. It's very simple. I'll do it right now. Okay. 2 seconds. Okay? So you breathe in through your nose. And you breathe out as if you're breathing out through a straw through your mouth. 3 more times. It's kind of like a tantric exercise we just did. So if you have a partner, do that, in the bedroom. This is a great way to really deeply connect. Yeah. And if you're anxious before you do a performance, do some speaking, or before you get on the phone to a lead, that's the way to do it. It literally shuts down fight or flight. Wow. And if you start to notice you feel a little, spacey, it's because you have more oxygen in your brain than you've had in a while, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing. Yeah. So that's how I teach people.
Wow.
I actually do it with them, give them the skill right then in the free session. And when we get off the phone, Bob, I'm going to be emailing this to you. So whatever I've covered with Bob, I email to him. Whatever I cover with Jane or, Linda, or I'm emailing different things to different people.
So that's like a session recap that you provide just to make sure that they're clear on what was covered, because sometimes you might be caught up in the moment, not able to take the notes effectively. That's valuable. Yeah,
because the whole idea is that this 1 hour of my life and yours has value for both of us.
Yeah.
In life, that's how you and I operate anyway.
Yeah. Wow. That's so powerful. So for someone who is they're exploring the perfect coach for them, because coaches always need a coach, right?
Yes.
What would you say to that person to know who's the right fit for them? What's the coach that they should really look for that's going to be aligned with them, that's going to help them get to where they want to go?
Well, it could go 2 ways. Like, you could get the coach that's most like you because you're going to model that, style of coaching, that form of coaching. And, maybe you're offering them the opportunity to become a Burn It Up coaching coach later on if they meet certain credentials and criteria.
Sure.
Or they're going to become a sales forum coach or a Heartspace coach, right? Or I've also seen great success when somebody was the opposite of me. And a family member was offering this, I'll pay for it, sweetheart. If you're willing to work with my coach, would you be willing? Because she's got a lot of stuff to teach you that, frankly, you don't know.
Yeah.
And I give him great credit. He was the person I'm thinking about, he was about 23 when his mother suggested that. And he said, yes, in spite of the fact that everything about us was different. And he had been getting jobs and getting fired and getting jobs and getting fired 3 or 4 times when I met him. He never got fired again. He left a job to get a much better job. He left a job to get a much better job. He left a job to get a much better job. But he never got fired again because I was like the boss and I could teach him, you don't want to act like that because that's what didn't work before.
Mm.
And so he was able to listen to me. He didn't let his ego get in the way. So either if you're a coach, you want someone who's very much like you because you're going to model them and become them. Or if you're really courageous, get somebody who's very successful and very different from you. So you build the whole brain, because one of the things I teach is whole brain thinking. I'm certified in Herman Brain Dominance. And most coaches are operating here. They're visionary. I want independence. I don't want to have a day job. I want to work from my bedroom in my pajamas. Okay, great. That's nice. But the facts and figures tell us you have to have credentials, qualifications. You have to be able to close a big deal now and then in order to have that life. It's not like I don't want to work. In fact, entrepreneurship requires more labor in the first few years. And they can be really great with people, but for example, may not be able to be consistent. I was working with a woman, I gave her a free session, and she's a coach, and she wanted to work with women who just got divorced and are in terrible divorces and don't know what to do with their children. And she thought she had a lead generation problem. I said, you have children? She said, yes. I said, how old are they? She said, one of them is 4, I think, and the other one's 10. I said, and you really believe you have a lead generation problem? She said, well, I do have a lead generation problem. I said, okay, well, pity that I didn't ask you to make $1 million bet on it. You don't have a lead generation problem at all, because are your children in extracurricular activities? I'm sure they are. What do they do? And she said, I said, okay, so when's the next time they each do that? This afternoon. I said, great. You have a pocket full of business cards. You have a little pad with a little ballpoint pen, because you only give somebody a card if they give you their contact info. You don't give out a card. Nobody's going to contact you. You got to contact them. And I said, you're going to go there. How many people are you going to speak to and say, just to let you know, I'm a blah, blah, blah coach and I specialize in blah, blah, blah. And I'd love to give you 3 free sessions. See if perhaps I know something that you haven't figured out yet. Da, 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 da. Now, this is a woman who's got an all Ivy education, undergrad and grad school. But here's the challenge. She's not a visionary. She didn't get it. Now, you got it. Like before I even said, you've got a lead generation problem. Really? Are you sure? You're thinking, I know it. So it's about whole brain thinking. So she had the idea she wanted to be a coach because she wanted freedom and she was traumatized and she hadn't done her inner work. So she hadn't brought herself to peace. She was on an emotional roller coaster, a dangerous place to live. Then she hadn't done the logical analysis of data, dollars, and numbers. Well, who are moms? Who are moms of young kids, etc. And a lot of them have spousal support. A lot of them have discretionary income. A lot of them work. A lot of them have all of the above. So she's got this perfect clientele. And then she just would have to take action on it. But in fact, it's about her and everybody else learning what's the opening line. I said, if you decide to work with me, somebody's got to write your pitch. Somebody's got to write the answers to all the questions they're going to ask. Somebody's going to have to create the branding for you. Somebody's going to have to do all those different things because you weren't a businesswoman for, even 5 years. You're just starting.
So tap into the genius of the people around you for that support. And Susan, you've already shared so much in this interview, like so many great skills and strategies, especially for those new coaches who are like, how do I get started? How do I gain momentum? How do I really start to grow in this industry? And it can be challenging for a lot of people, but when they have a mentor or a coach or someone that they're working with like yourself, they can really make that progress. So I want to remind people how they can stay connected with you, what they can do next to get that session with you. How can they continue with you, Susan?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's such a joy to be on your show. What a joy. Just how thrilling. Thank you so much. My goodness. So, really a coach par excellence. So they can email me, Susan@susanallan.org. The company's a nonprofit. So ALLAN.org. They can phone me on my cell, 818-314-1200, 818-314-1200, and make sure you tell me that you're coming to me through Chris Burns. It's really important so that I know who to thank. And of course, they can text me as well at 818-314-1200. Facebook, you and I are connected on Facebook. They can find me there. Yep. I've got 2 pages on Facebook. I've got 2 identities on Facebook. I've got 2 identities on LinkedIn. I'm all over Google. You basically can't miss me.
I love it. Susan, you are a superstar. And thank you so much for being here, for sharing some really powerful inspiration from your years of experience so that our listeners who are trying to figure out their way, trying to get that clarity and really...
Don't try to figure it out. That's a terrible Don't try to figure it out. Get experts to tell you what they know works and keep talking to experts about what they know works until you're willing to listen to one of them. I'll tell you what I know works. Chris will tell you what he knows works. I would think you'd be willing to listen to one of us or both of us. And for some reason, if not, keep talking to experts.
Yes.
Only experts until you're willing to learn from one of us.
Amen. Amen, Susan. Thank you so much for sharing this. I appreciate you being here, and you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much.
You too.
Bye-bye.